Hi there, welcome to Let's Talk Tottenham. Win against Pacos yesterday. We're in the Europa Conference. We've got a game against Watford to look forward to, and Harry Kane stays. So how can we not be in a good mood? Got three brilliant guests, as always. Brian from Tottenham On Tour. How are you doing, Brian? I'm
doing very, very good, sir. Very good. Pleasure to be back on here. I'm feeling a lot better than I did last week. Hence, there's a camera on me. Last week was not pretty, but yeah, happy with the week gone by, and let's hope we can wrap this off with 9 points and 0 goals conceded.
Yeah, all three guests have all got their YouTube channel. Brian's Tottenham On Tour. Where can people find that if they don't already know?
They can find us at Tottenham On Tour. It does what it says on the tin. It's Tottenham On Tour, spelt like that for YouTube. But obviously, for the social media, it's all one word, at Tottenham On Tour. And we're a brand new channel. We've been going about, I think, a month now. And we're trying to ramp up. And there's a lot more content coming our way. And we have the two Brians featuring, hopefully to be confirmed. But and he gave me a definitive answer, so I will say confirmed. I won't read out the definitive answer, but yes, Bobspur will be joining me.
Excellent. Eujin is back. Hi, Eujin. How are you doing?
Yeah, doing well. After a win yesterday, right? We're all doing well, yeah. All right. And, yeah. And of course, you can find me on Spursuasian TV, right? Yeah. I do the crazy streams, right? I always do the crazy streams. 5 shows in one stream. This Sunday is coming up, so let's hope we all meet up there again, right?
Excellent. And Bob is back after debut on Monday. How you doing, Bob?
Very well, mate. Very, very good, classy, fantastic performance against a pub team yesterday. So overjoyed. And yeah, if I'm not on my weekly appearance on Pornhub under the pseudonym of Long Dong Bob, I'm on Bobspur TV on YouTube.
Excellent. So you've got Tottenham On Tour, Spursuasian TV, Bobspur TV. Get subscribing, get liking. Got a few hellos here. Hi, Lockman.
Oh, hello, Eujin.
I know how he does that. He appears everywhere, and he writes it in written as well.
Right. Yeah, he'll be telling himself to piss off in a bit.
Yeah, and Aidan is only interested in Eujin, doesn't care about any of
them. Yeah. Cheers, Aidan.
Hi.
Cheers, Aidan. Yeah.
So let's get straight to it. The big news this week isn't the game that we played or the game that we got. It's this. Harry Kane is staying. But, cutting all the positivity down. But for how long? He said the summer. Doesn't mention the winter. But Brian, I would say as well that on Bob's channel on Wednesday, all three of us were on here talking about this. So it's going to be a bit repetitive. But Brian, you were saying there, I think like a lot of Spurs fans think he's staying, but there's still a few days left in the window, so there's something nagging there. Have you changed your mind at all, being how he looked yesterday, or are you still on that perspective?
No, listen, the thing I'm getting at when I say that, I still don't think this is over. I don't say that he's going. I don't think this whole transfer saga is over, because what we've got to remember is, first of all, if Man City do the unthinkable and get Ronaldo, Man U are going to have to send a shockwave back. They're going to have to respond somehow. And the whole Harry Kane saga, what I failed to understand with this is, now that he said he's staying, people are like, oh yeah, he's staying. But beforehand, we're all saying it's got nothing to do with what Kane wants or how Kane thinks. If money comes in and Levy wants to keep him or sell him, Harry Kane's feelings or Harry Kane's wants and needs are nothing. So if a number does come in from someone and they turn around, Harry Kane has said that he's staying really now, because yes, of the reception he got, but because Man City have completely nosed this up. There's no way around it. Man City, so if you're telling me Man U, let's just say, come in and say 160 million or the equivalent with players, and Daniel says yes, the parasite says yes, and then he goes to Harry Kane and says, oh, by the way, you want to go to United? All of a sudden he's going to turn around and say no. So I don't think this is over. I want him to stay. I hope and pray to God he stays. I just think there's an 11th hour bid coming in from somewhere, and this isn't over.
Yeah. I mean, you've also got a hello from Aidan as well. Yeah. But Bob, I think this is totally out of order, Bob. He's put an emoji on there, so I'll let him off.
Well done, Aid. Well
done. Eugene, on Bob's channel, you a fairly similar view to Brian. Are you of the same opinion of him, or has anything changed for you?
I don't know. This is what I call an old Spurs fan PTSD syndrome coming back again.
Legacy
right?
fan, legacy.
No, you're a legacy. I'm old. But like I said, what Brian says is very true, right? If the number is right, Harry Kane is gone. So let's see who's going to come up with that right number, right? It could be MU, or it could be, I don't know, Real Madrid or whoever is going to do that. But I still have my deep down inside, there's a slight little but there. But the positive side is that he has personally come out to say he's staying and he's willing to give 100%, which was proven yesterday by him scoring the 2 goals, right? He did give his 100%. He led the way. So big up to Harry Kane. And let's see what happens on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, Bob, you were saying that all you wanted was an announcement or a statement, which you got, so you must still be absolutely delighted by that. What did you make of him yesterday? He looked to me like he was still hungry and determined, and he obviously scored 2 goals, but he was coming deep, spraying balls out and everything like that. What do you make of the situation? Do you think there's a bid coming, or are you just more concerned that he's made his statement, he's staying for at this moment in time anyway, and he looks to be playing like he cares again?
Yeah, I think as well. First of all, I'm it's confirmed that Eugene got a slight little butt, but I've said right from, and Brian will back me up, since day one, Kane is staying. Brian's got his 2 words, Levy out, and I've always said Kane is staying. Now, of course, during the saga, there were parts of me that thinking, not sure, but there was something inside me that just felt it was going to stay. Nothing was going to come up. So, I still think he was. I'm surprised it took so long for the statement to come out. I was, and me and Cody are on opposite sides, but I believe there should have been some form of clarity on the first day. You know, his intentions or the club just clarifying it all. Was he out on an extra holiday? So I don't condone his actions. I still think he was a bit of a twat, a big twat for doing what he did. But he's one of the best strikers in the world. He makes our team a better team. We've got more of a chance finishing top 4 with him in the side than without. So I'm over the moon. He's staying. He's going to be professional. He looked hungry. He looked like a weight off his shoulders yesterday. And his performance yesterday didn't surprise me. The only surprise was he didn't get his hat-trick. Although there's a part of me that does think that he needs to earn his place against Watford. We all know he's going to start.
But who drops out there, do you think? I mean, it would be probably Bergwijn and Mora, because he ain't going to drop Son, is he?
It'd be one of them two. It'd be one of them two.
Well, it depends on Son's injury.
Yeah, he came on yesterday, didn't he? So
he came on
yesterday.
I hope. Well, it is going to be between Lucas and Bergwijn. I'm a Bergwijn fan. Everyone knows I've backed him since day dot. And a lot of people will say Bergwijn would be the obvious choice. But Mora's had a couple of iffy games. Not only that, but against Wolves, Nuno did take off Sonny and Lucas and kept Bergwijn on. So I do think he's got a bit more in the tank than the other two. So I don't know, mate. If he does come in, I think it might be for the expense of Lucas. But for me, they deserve to start. The front three haven't given him any reasons to be dropped. But it's football. I can't say he's one of the best strikers in the world in one sentence and then say he shouldn't be starting. So that's if he is the best. We know he's the best, so he will come in. I just think maybe just hold off against Watford, certainly at home anyway.
Yeah. What do you think, Brian? Because I think Watford is going to be more, not anything like the City game. Watford are going to sit back, and we need someone to open the door. And Kane dropping deep fulfills that. But like Bob says, you know, he did go AWOL a little bit, so he does have to earn his way back. But then he is the player that makes us tick. What do you see for the game in terms of lineup and Kane?
I'm completely with Bob on pretty much, or actually everything he said. He knows, like him, I've been tooting the horn for Bergwijn. I think he's a real talent. He has come. I mean, that bit of trickery that he did, that's pure confidence and everything that he did. He's looking like he means business now. And it's not just the front line you've got to look at. We played 2 games, won them both, conceded none. There's not a single player in that team that deserves to be dropped. I don't care who you are, not to rock the boat. I think he starts on the bench. You say about Watford and they're playing different. and dropping deep, well, you look at it, then you've got the three people up front that have got bags of pace. So the bags of pace could stretch them just as much as Kane dropping deep. So you've got to look at, and if I look at it, to me, for this type of game, like you were saying, with Watford, I'd rather Kane come off the bench when they're getting a little bit tired from being stretched from everywhere, from all the pace, and then him come on and just mop everything up, rather than him come off and ask someone else to come in and do it. If you bring him off the bench, anytime Harry Kane comes on the pitch, whether it's as a sub or a beginner, that team that he's playing for is immediately 10 times stronger than anyone else. So I think if you bring him off from the bench and then literally bring him on if it's a 0-0 or 1-0, once Mora, Son and Bergwijn have run the Watford defence ragged, and let's face it, a lot of the Watford team the Watford defence are at least late 20s, if not early to mid 30s, a majority of them. So I think it'll work better that way. And I think Kane needs to learn that, listen, you did do wrong. Yeah, you scored 2 goals. We're about to go on an international break. Come off the bench, do well in this international break, and then we've got Palace, West London filth, and then the biggest filth of them all. That's when you're starting. That's what we need to do, because he needs to, without a doubt, Harry Kane has to start those 3 London derbies without a shadow of a doubt. So I think he should be on a little bit of the naughty step with here's your rewards, go on at half time or whatever. And then after the international break, when he's really fluid, off you go, mate, on your own, and smash all the Premier League teams up, especially the filth from North London.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think, Eugene, with Kane? And also, I only saw the highlights yesterday, but Bryan Gil looked superb in that. He linked up with Kane and Sessegnon on the left. So 2 questions for you. What do you think of the Kane starting on the bench scenario against Watford? And when do you think we'll see Bryan Gil in the Premier League?
To me, is that I will more or less follow Brian and says that Kane should be on the bench first and let the starting lineup that's been playing in the few games at which they have started continue, and maybe in halftime, depending how the scenario is, then maybe just bring in Hill and Kane, right, to maybe let them gel again and see whether there's something there that we can work on. Right, but to bring on Kane, straight away to take over either Mora's position or Bergwijn's position, I don't think that's quite fair. So in the end of the day, it's Nuno's job to see who is, up there to take that position. In the end of the day, we still do not know what kind of lineup Nuno's going to put, right? Whether it's going to go back to a 3-5-2 or, it's still going to be a 4-3-3. We do not know, because there's not any Kane we're going to talk about. You're going to talk about what about is Romero coming in for that game, right? Because Romero did very well yesterday, right? Yeah, but of course not to put like what Bob say, it's a pub side and all that. So, yeah. So I don't know, but Watford, I think away they will struggle. But at home they look a bit formidable. So let's see how it goes there, right? But like you said, Watford will sit back. We will have to break them down. That's how I see it. We will have to break them down. So let's see whether we can do that with the first, Son, Mora, and Bergwijn.
Yeah. I mean, Bob, Wayne Bonner. Hi, Wayne. Hill was superb last night. Different class. Going to be very, very special. What I would say is it's very different playing against Pacos at home to the Premier League. So he's going to take a bit of getting used to there. But what did you think of the game yesterday? I thought Romero looked superb, and little Toby kind of ball over the top to Kane in the first minute. Winks, I thought, for the first goal, absolutely superb. And not just a challenge, but his first thought without even thinking about it was forward, and that created the goal. Heel, obviously, was superb. Kane coming back. A lot of positives there, but it is against a team that are quite far away from Premier League level. But what were your overall thoughts of the game?
Well, I can't be a hypocrite, mate. I was one who's saying last Thursday didn't matter. You can't really judge the team we put out against that team last Thursday. And like yesterday, with all due respect, we should be beating 3-0, 4-0. It's the least we should be expecting with our team out. Credit is due. The players performed against, his first good game Harry Winks has had in 54 years. So yeah, good on him. But nothing changes. You know, he's still shit. So nothing changes in my eyes. Hill looked good. At least he showed potential. What you want to be, in my eyes, if you're a player in these games, you want to be a thought in Nuno's mind. You want to be a consideration, don't you? That's what you want. No one's going to come away from that game and Nuno's going to be thinking, right, he's in my first 11 next time, apart from possibly a Kane. But he's not going to look at it and look at the fringe player and say, right, you've played so well today, you're going to be my first 11 next time. Because you perform. No, they just want to be a thought, a consideration in Nuno's mind. And the likes of the Hill have certainly done that. Harry Winks, for me, has to do a lot more. Sessegnon didn't do enough. Lo Celso's done okay. And that's what you want. You want these games to be, like I say, be in Nuno's mind for future games, and or get onto the subs bench if you haven't been on there. So I see a lot of people saying, "Oh yeah, Hill should start ahead of Lucas." Or nah, I'm sorry. Watford, with all due respect to Watford, and it is respect to Watford, they are probably 5 times better than who we played last night. They are. They're a Premier League team, and I don't care where you are in the Premier League, you are a better team than who we played last night. So yeah, no, it's a great start to Hill. You know, it just shows when you are surrounded by better players, you can perform. He started last week and he had a couple of good touches, but he was playing around poorer players. So yeah, good start for Hill. I've heard him being compared to Ginola, Messi, Gaza, and all sorts. Mate, calm down. I hope he turns out to be the next Messi, but bloody hell, keep a lid on it, man. Keep a lid on it. He's Brian Hill, the young Tottenham winger.
I have to say, I was kind of... Bob knows I'd never put anyone in Gaza's level, but I'm going to mention some names here. Chris Waddle, Rafa van der Vaart, David Ginola. Tottenham have had these players, which I call maverick players.
Yeah,
which are kind of the players that as soon as he gets the ball, you get on the edge of your seat like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Oh my God, he's going to... Now, Brian Hill, from what I've seen of him, has those credentials. Like when you saw him, it was one of those, like, there's a famous goal me and Bob talk about Spurs versus Oxford in the FA Cup where Gaza takes the ball from the halfway line and the crowd were really bored. And then Gaza gets the ball and the whole crowd go, oh my God, thanks. That's what Brian Hill from these 2 games I see can bring. Not saying he's going to be anywhere near that class, but he has got that maverick, like some maximum. Like, oh my God, he's got the ball, something's about to happen. He just looks, compared to when we signed him, and everyone was like, huh? What? Who? What? What we've seen, I've liked. Like Bob said, it's against pub teams from Portugal. But seeing his movement, he's come from a foreign club, doesn't speak the language, and his willingness to get on the ball and try things and always be positive. You don't see him run and then pass sideways or backwards. He was a thorn in their side. And it was like, genuinely, when he got the ball, oh my God, what's going to happen? And I think he's got the potential to be in that category. Not a style of player, but like I'm saying, like a maverick, like a Letitia kind of maverick. Oh my God, something special is about to happen. 100%, so we've seen him for a couple of games. And what we've seen has been very impressive. But like Bob said, it's against Portuguese minnows who, let's face it, we shouldn't even be in this tournament in the first place. But yeah, I'm very impressed with what I see and just hope that I think this lump of coal could finally be one of the ones that I actually get to say we've turned into a diamond. I could finally say it.
Yeah, I mean, you said, "Oh my God, what's he going to do?" That's the same feeling Aiden gets when Dyer gets the ball, but I suspect in a very different way.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm talking to the Europa League, Dan THFC. Hi, Dan. We got Group G in the conference. Not sure who's in that.
They're still drawing it, Chris.
Yeah,
they're still drawing.
Right.
I've got it in front of me. So as the group is announced, I'll just announce it live, exclusively.
We got the group of great. Got the group of great. Fantastic news.
He's also asked. I'll come to you first, Eugene. Thoughts on the Ronaldo situation? There's big links linking him to City. Will he go there? Will he not? But yeah, I mean, for me, if he does go to City, we've played him once, so it doesn't really bother me. We've only got to play him one more time.
Sorry, my coffee almost went everywhere.
What's your thoughts, Eugene?
The To tell you the truth, right? Ronaldo, Juventus only wants about 30 million euros for him.
Yeah.
Okay. And somehow another City is stalling again. I don't understand what's going on there, right? Maybe it's his wages that's going to give them some problems, which I don't think so, right? They can afford his wages, £600,000, £1 million a week. City can pay it. But somehow or another, I don't know why all of a sudden City is like lowballing everybody. Maybe they have really spent all their money on Grealish. That's the first mistake they made. And if Ronaldo does go to City, I think that will create a domino effect going around the whole of Europe at the moment. That's how I see it. But of course, I was also before this I was actually following Football Terrace, right? Terry, yeah, he was saying, some of the MU fans are going crazy. Why is Ronaldo going back to M City? He's the same thing again, Judas and all the hate and all the things and all that. But Terry was saying, come on, right? The player has his right to do what he wants to do. Okay. You love him when you're playing for us, but when he leaves, right, you must give him a certain kind of respect and dignity that he's going to another team, which is, I know you hate too, right? But you have to dial it back down. But there is the fear part is that, like what I think Brian was saying earlier, right? If City gets Ronaldo, would MU come and jump on to us for Kane just to reply the City going for Ronaldo? So let's see what happens there.
I think Kane wants to win trophies, doesn't he? If he goes to Man United, they haven't won anything in 5 years, so it's really a sideward step. But what do you think of Ronaldo's situation, Bob? I mean,
I don't think the transfer fee is much of an issue. I think they'll make that within the week. 28 million pound. They'll from his sponsors and his worldwide. Can you imagine the amount of 67 shirts he'd sell? So, I think they'll make that back within the week, 2 weeks or whatever. It's his weekly wages. How many noses does he put out a joint if he comes in as a £1 million a week player? And personally, I don't want to see it. I hate Man City. I hate Man City fans. I hate what they stand for. I hate Pep. I hate the owners more than Arsenal. I hope he doesn't go to City. And I know Rooney's given his bit this morning on Ram TV saying
he's trying to get him at Derby.
Yeah, that'll be a good. They could pay for themselves. Rooney's probably got enough money, but no, I just don't want to see it. It'd be great to see. Don't get me wrong, Ronaldo's probably one of the best players I've ever seen live. It'd be great to see him in the Premier League. I'd rather have him go to Man United, if I'm honest. I'd love to see him. I'd love to see him in the Premier League again. Just not a City.
Bob, what if we get Ronaldo as our backup striker?
That'd be great. Yeah, absolutely. Let him fight for a place.
I mean,
we've been linked to him.
Those rumours were absolutely ridiculous, but come around quite well. I wanted to ask you this, Brian. You said it on Bob's channel. We're obviously linked with Ronaldo, the Paratici effect. Never going to happen. Kane's staying, but this is the question: will Levy now invest? We've got 4 days left.
Will he to ask, Chris? Of all people to ask.
I know he's got thoughts on it, so I wanted to ask him that. But 4 days left. Kane's staying. Will he now say, right, okay, we've got to keep him now? Invest? My answer is no. Brian, over to you.
So he'll invest, but in property or something else. It's amazing how this Adama Traore deal is apparently, whether you want it or not, has fallen through. And if he's going to invest, everything's loan with option. If he's going to invest, Tomiyasu should be done. This guy's not going to invest. It's still players out, players in. To me, that's not investing. That's just recuperating and spending what you've got. Investing means putting money in and making it available to get the players the manager wants, so he gets what he needs, which he's never going to do. If we sell Aurier and sell Sissoko, then we'll use that money to get players in. But that's not investing to me. That's just refinancing and moving around what you've got. So when it comes to investing, not a chance. He'll invest in bullshit. That's what he will do. He'll invest in some bullshit. But coming back to Ronaldo, what you've got to remember with the Ronaldo deal is you've got to be careful if any other players are like Kane on contracts where you have to match. Like Kevin De Bruyne could have a clause in his contract to be on par with the highest earner. So any player that comes in, or Ronaldo comes in, there could be players that need to have their salary hugely inflated to match it. I think this whole thing with Juventus are in a real dark place because they either say, right, we want 25 million for him to get him off our books. That's the fee we want to recuperate it. Or they say, we're not going to take 25. If they don't sell him, they're going to have to pay him 25 million in wages anyway. And then he goes for free at the end of the season. So Juve are in a real, do we let him go for free and then that's 25 million saved? Or do we keep him, spend 25 million and then we lose him? They just can't win. And then obviously you got the Kylian Mbappe deal. I think these two, like we always wait for that. There's that one transfer that literally just sets a domino rally all around it. And I've got a feeling the Kylian Mbappe deal is going to go through. I mean, PSG, if they're getting offered 170 million for him now, they want 180 because apparently they still. I was watching Sky Sports yesterday. They paid 145 of the 180, and they're hanging out for the 180 as the money so they can pay Monaco back, and then they get 100 whatever for themselves. But if they don't accept this 170 million, and he's still there come the end of the window, as soon as January the 1st, Real Madrid bang free. You've lost 170 million pounds.
I think what it is, he's got an agreement with PSG, Brian, that he's promised them. He's a gentleman's agreement.
I was listening to that yesterday. Yeah, he's going to do a Sol Campbell.
He won't go for a free. Yeah, he won't go for a free. So the rumour is, and I'm sure the people in question have done their research and asked the question, if he's not sold by a certain time, be it December the 31st or December whatever, he will sign a new contract, and then there'll be a clause in there for 200 million, whatever. So he's not going to go for a free. PSG and Mbappe himself have agreed that it's not going to happen. But hey, we know what gentleman agreements mean. Sorry.
Exactly. Exactly. Good old gentleman's agreement. We all know what a gentleman's agreement is. But yeah, coming back to Levy, listen, everyone knows my answer on this. He won't invest. He will give us what we bring in. And let's face it, what are we going to get for Sissoko? And has anyone? I mean, I haven't heard the figures. I heard today from We Are Tom TV it might be 17 million for Aurier, and then God knows what for Sissoko.
10.
So that's 27 million. That's the money. That what were we saying? 22 million for Tomiyasu, which leaves us with what, 5 million, and that is what we'll have to spend. So I don't see him investing any additional. I just don't see it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Aidan said £10 million for Sissoko, which probably isn't a bad thing. He's also said here regarding City, Ronaldo. I have to say this because I want to say this is just allegations at the moment. It's not been proven. Sounds like they'll have some cash on Mendy's wages, but that's only alleged at the moment. That's.
Oh, it's all right.
Go ahead, Bob.
I was just going to announce who we got.
I know.
Yeah, Reigns, Vines, and
Mora.
Vitesse and Moru, or whoever they are. So
wait a minute, the Reigns from France.
Yeah.
Vitesse from Belgium.
Vitesse
is from Belgium.
From Holland.
Belgium.
Vitesse
Holland.
Dutch.
Holland, right.
And then another team, Moru, wasn't it? Moru or something like that? Yeah, Moru or something like that.
Oh, we didn't get into your mum.
Oh, here we go. We go. It's coming up. Hang on. Roma with. I'm not even going to pronounce that, man. I don't know who that
is it a triple word score on Scrabble, Bob?
Yeah, it is. I can't see into your mum. Did they get knocked out or something?
I hope you can't see into my mum, mate. That'd be highly unfortunate.
And Spurs are in with. Here we go. Tottenham, Reigns from France, Vitesse, and Moura, NS Moura. So I'm not sure where they're from.
Because we're playing Lucas' family.
Yeah. MU. And unfortunately, it looks like Into Your Mum are knocked out. They're not there anymore.
Oh, that's the whole reason to be in this tournament, huh?
I know.
That's so Spursy.
I mean, we should be getting through that group fairly easy with all due respect to those teams. But
we should be winning it, Chris. We should be winning it, mate.
Yeah.
We should
if we don't win it, it's a disgrace. If we don't win this tournament or at least get to the final, albeit it could be against Roma, it's an absolute disgrace if we do not win this.
Yeah. But we have to face Roma, right?
Yeah.
Just as long we don't face Roma somewhere along, Yeah.
I'll be back in 2 seconds.
I mean, going back to Watford, and we mentioned it with Ronaldo going to City, maybe the reception he gets from the Man United fans. But Eugin, I'm assuming this guy will play against us for Watford. Danny Rose. I quite like Danny Rose. I don't mind that he's outspoken and everything like that. And he was one of the best left backs, if not the best left back in the league at one point for us. What reception do you think he'll get from the Spurs fans?
Oh, Danny Rose, I think he deserves a warm welcome back, right? So, I mean, he was a good servant for many years for us, right? Until things turned bad because he wanted to leave and, you know, he was frozen out and put into the under-23 teams and all that. But I'm not sure what Danny Rose has ever said that he didn't want to play for us. Has he ever said that? He's never said that. But his confrontation with Jose and his confrontation with Levy put him in cold storage. That's how I saw it. Right? So the fans, like I said, we shouldn't show so much hate for players anymore, right? Because players are human too, right? They have emotions, right? And Danny Rose did go through a lot of emotional and mental problems
outside
he was going
outside
of football. And don't forget, during when he was playing for England, right, all the racist abuse and all that he got. Oh my God. And it was all just swept under the rug, and at least nowadays there is a lot of improvement on that nowadays, right? And I'm sure Brian will have a more in-depth on Danny Rose because Brian is quite close to Danny's father, right, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so but to tell the truth, as us fans, right, if players who have not done us bad or wrong, or even no matter how bad or wrong, when they come back, it's either you support them or you don't support them. Just don't abuse them. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, come to you, Brian, being that you're a bit more in the know. The question was, what kind of reception do you think Danny Rose will get? I'm assuming he'll play. And I've seen on Twitter as well, even when he wanted to leave, he'd still go to the under-23s, give advice to young players. So I think regardless of what fans think of Danny Rose as a footballer, I think he's probably just a genuinely nice guy. So I've always liked Danny Rose. I don't mind the outspoken part, and he says what he thinks. I don't mind about that, and he was a great servant for us. But what kind of reception do you think he'll get?
What he should get, and I hope he will get, and I think he will get, is an absolute standing ovation. He will get an absolute standing ovation, and it's totally and utterly deserved. I mean, even if it's just for a certain thing that he did 9 minutes into his debut from 35 yards out, that solidified him in Tottenham folklore. Listen, as Eugene said, I know Danny Rose's dad rather well, and I haven't spoken to him for a little while since I've been out here. But one thing is undeniable is Danny Rose's love for Tottenham Hotspur. I can tell you that for a fact. Yes, he was outspoken with that son thing that he did right before the beginning of the season. Listen, all players now with social media and everything have unbridled coverage to say what they want, do what they want. And we've got to the age now that if a Premiership footballer wants to say something, it could be front page news as well as back page news. That's just the way society is and the way football is now deemed in this country. And Danny Rose sometimes steps over the line because he's like me. He's hot-headed and he thinks he acts before he thinks. That what he said was totally. I mean, saying that just before the season was totally unacceptable. And he took the pain for it. But then we saw from the documentary when we all joke about the Milan interests, but we saw how he was treated. And as Eugene said, and he's been very open with it, he has had mental health issues. And it kind of got cast to one side. And using that mental health, I actually want to applaud for Tottenham for hiring that mental health doctor this week. I think it's one of the most outstanding moves we could have made. And that is a superb thing to do. But then, like I said, Danny Rose has always... I've got a few friends that have been out and about in Chigwell or wherever and have seen him, always poses for pictures, will always talk, always has a smile on his face. It's just very, very unfortunate the way that it's worked out with Danny, but I can assure you his love for the club still runs deep. And let's just hope he doesn't come up for a corner 9 minutes in and it comes out from 35 yards out and history repeats himself. But yeah, I mean, Danny, please God, if he does make an appearance, I've got a funny feeling he might come off the bench just to get, and if he comes off the bench, he will get an absolute standing ovation.
If we win it.
That's the truth. And it's totally deserved. I mean, until he got that huge injury, and I have to admit, when we first signed Ben Davies, I was so happy he was coming in to replace Danny Rose because I thought Danny Rose at a left back wasn't the right position, because he'd go forward brilliant, but he'd never track back. He never used it. He used to leave himself open. But under Poch, he became the best left back in the Premier League, period, if not Europe, for those peak couple of years. And then he got a couple of injuries and he knocked him down. But yeah, Danny Rose deserves a standing ovation. No boos, no nothing. Everyone cheering his name for wonderful service that he provided Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah, I mean, Bob, what do you think of him? And Brian hinted at it there. Do you think he'll come back to haunt us at all? I hope not. Get the standing ovation and get on, but don't score a goal against us. But yeah,
he'll probably make a last-ditch clearance off the line with the scores being 1-1 or something like that. But it's another reason why I just don't like Jose. I've obviously I'm fortunate enough never to be in that position where I've had mental issues, and it's uncomfortable. Not uncomfortable. It's not realistic of me to compare or speak about it. But from the outside, he was just like he was fobbed off. He just looked like he'd never had that support. Of course, that might not be true. It might not be true at all. But for me, the way he was just sidelined, it just showed complete lack of respect. And the fact that we all know what kind of mental issues he did have, to compound that on him as well, just didn't sit right with me. I was very uncomfortable with it all. He wasn't even asked about within the media that much. It was, maybe it's a reflection of society. Maybe it's a taboo subject that not people are uncomfortable talking about. But for me, he just never sat comfortably with me. And I love him. I think he's been one of our best left backs of all time. He will go down. And I was glad he got his move, because, it was all becoming very uncomfortable for me personally. And I think he should have had a bit more support that was known to us. He could. I'm not saying he's never had the support, but for an everyday person like myself who was worried about his mental well-being, I just thought maybe that should have been relayed even within the Spurs community on Spurs TV. He was never seen. He was just put to one side and never spoken of, as if he never existed. And that never has, never did, and never will sit comfortably with me. And that there's only so much I can blame on Jose, but obviously he had a hand as well. So everyone knows my issues with Jose, so that's just another one on the list.
Yeah, I think the saddest thing with Danny Rose is after the racism he got with England, I can't remember where, but he said something along
Bulgaria.
Yeah, he said something along the lines of, I can't wait to finish football because then I don't have to put up with this, which it stamped out the love for the game, which I just thought was really, really sad. And I mean, Jose is a completely different manager to Pochettino. Jose really kind of just cares about winning. Whereas I read Pochettino's book, and I could be slightly the other way around, but I think Danny Rose had a death in the family, didn't he? Not that long ago. Yep. And the first person he called was Pochettino to have a little heart-to-heart chat, which that would never, ever happen with Mourinho. And that's the kind of support I think he probably needed. And he didn't. You saw in the documentary, he didn't get that at all from Jose. But yeah, hopefully he's settled down now at Watford and just doesn't come back to haunt us.
In an ideal world, he'd be fighting for like a left-back pace. A position in England, because apart from Luke Shaw, who do we really have in that left back? So if he gets his mind right, it's still a brilliant left back. If we can see anywhere near what he did before under Poch, then there's why not? Because the ability is there, and I wish him all the best. He'd get a massive reception from me. Like I say, I think he was treated rather shit at Spurs. Certainly from the outside, it seemed like that. So yeah, good on him.
You know, the other reason why he might deserve a standing ovation is if right now he's probably talking to Sissoko, telling him how great Watford is. So if that gets over the line, he deserves extra plaudits, but he deserves extra plaudits.
Yeah, I mean,
that's true.
What kind of game do you expect, Brian? I'll ask all three of you, starting with you, Brian. What kind of game do you expect? Watford attack, or will they sit back and play on the counter-attack, and is it up to us as the home team and the onus on us to break him down, or will they try and have a go? We've obviously not conceded a goal in 2 league games. Do you think that will have a hand? How do you see the game kind of panning out?
So what I will say, I mean, what I've seen in their first game against Aston Villa and their second game is they are playing quite expansive football. They are trying to attack. But But we all know when promoted teams come up and do this and go for the jugular, sometimes it comes back to bite them. I think their main threat, and I think everyone would agree, is Sarr. And it depends what wing he's on. Like if we got Tanganga at right back and Reggie at left back, I feel comfortable with whatever wing he tries. We've seen what they can do when they come up against pace and strength. I think it all hinges on how he performs and what kind of role they give Sarr. What I am loving, all right, a few of the big hitters played a lot of minutes yesterday, but listen, it was a home game. There's no travelling. They go home, relax now. They've got till Sunday. So I'm loving what Nuno is doing and like not playing big hitters full 90 minutes. Like just get out, get this job done. We were embarrassed in Portugal. Just get this sorted. We'll start making changes. I can honestly say I'm going for a 2-0 win anyway, and I think this is the kind of game where, all right, we sat back against Man City, and for obvious reasons. All right, we sat back at Wolves because obviously going away to Wolves is a very hard game, no matter when you play them, especially the first time they have fans back because they are a very hostile crowd. I think this is the first game, apart from yesterday, where we can say, right, okay, we've done the sitting back. Now it's time for us to do what we do and use our attacking strength and really go for them. So I'm hoping Nuno says, right, the last 2 games we sat back to soak up because we've had to. This time, roles reverse. I want you on the front foot. Go, 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 go. So I think it's going to be us putting the pressure on them and dictating it as opposed to Watford. I think we really need to go for the jugular straight away and we need to set the tempo, not them.
Yeah, I mean, Eugene, would you agree with that? I was on your stream after the Wolves game. It was either me or someone said it that sitting back against Man City, Wolves, fine. You know, we've got the win. But if we do that every game, then there's going to be issues if it's every now and then. But do you think the home fans now, because if the home fans were there last season playing defensive football, sitting back entirely, there'd have been a lot of issues. And I think...
I predict they're right.
and being that we've had that for a year, if that was happening again this season, even at the start of Nuno's tenure, you'd probably get a few unhappy people. So do you think, like Brian says, we'll go for the jugular start, try and attack them, or do you think we'll sit back and see how it goes and then start attacking, or do you think it'll be an open game because Watford will attack us and be a bit more expensive? How do you see things?
I think Watford will sit back this time, right? And I think Nuno will give Dele Alli, if he's playing, more freedom to go forward, right? And I think Nuno will use Reguilon more, right? Have you noticed that the past 2 games that we played in the Premier League, Reguilon has been very defensive, all right? He's been sitting back a lot, but with Reguilon, we know he can go forward, all right, with his speed and his crosses and all that. So hopefully Reguilon and Dele will be given instructions to be more forward, and we should take the game to them, okay? But of course, we do have what Brian has said, a slight danger there with the Ismaili Sarr, right? So Ismaili Sarr will be a danger to us. But hopefully, Dyer or more or less our midfield, right? Skippy and Højbjerg will take care of him. So that will give us more freedom to go forward. And if we are still playing the same 11 that we played the past 2 games, right? And if things don't work out, bring on Kane and Hill. Right, bring on Kane and bring on Hill. Then maybe we'll have more creativity in the center of the park, and Kane could do his pings, or maybe Kane can do his runs, or Hill can do his runs, and pass it to Kane, and that's where we'll get a goal. But if it's comfortable in the first half, we're 3-0 out, still bring on Kane and bring on Hill and let them have a run. Let them have a run. Let them have a run at them. Right.
I mean,
that's how I see it. Yeah.
Bob, Wayne has said if we play against Watford, how we played last night, we'll get 3 points. Do you think Romero will play? I mean, you obviously said no one in that first 11 from the Premier League games has done anything to warrant getting dropped. So I'm still not sure Romero will start, but he may come on, like Eugene says, if we're 3-0 up fairly late on. But yeah, I mean, do you agree with that statement or that Wayne said, or do you think we'll play differently like we played last night?
No, I think again, even if you play like we did last night against a Watford team, it's completely different because the opposition are of such a higher class. So yeah, we need to play with the same intent. I certainly agree with that. Certainly with the same attacking mindset. And I do disagree with people who say it was a defensive performance against Man City. We had Man City on the back foot in that second half. We were the better team. We looked like getting 2-0 up, even after we scored 1-0. I still remember it. Lo Celso taking on 2 players in midfield, playing out wide to can't remember. I think it was Tanganga putting in a really good cross. Well, we looked the attacking force. So, and hence the reason why people are comparing the Man City win again with the last season's 2-0 win. I thought it was completely different. I thought we were the much better team. We were the better team. We deserved to win that game against Man City, and we've not been able to say that with our chest out there, say we were deserved winners. We should have won that game by a bigger score. Same against Wolves. Yes, we did really well. We coped with the 5,824 crosses that they put in really easily. But we should have scored. We should have scored 2 or 3 more against Wolves. So we just need to carry that on. We need to take the intent from last night's game into Sunday's game. With regards to Sarr, just put Tanganga on him. If he's got big enough pockets, he'll put him in there. Tanganga will mark anyone out of the game, and no matter which position. I don't think Romero should start. I've said that. There's, if Nuno's gone in and stated quite clearly to the team, and it does seem like a man of his word and man of principles. If come in and said, like, clean slate, guys, we're starting now. Sanchez and Dyer haven't done anything again to deserve to be dropped. They've performed well in pre-season. They've performed good in the first 3 games. Dyer played all right yesterday. So, exactly. Man City did nothing against us, absolutely. And so, I believe Sanchez and Dyer should start. Romero will need to fight. Just because he's a £50 million player doesn't mean you get an automatic start in the team. When the blunder comes, and we're all unfortunately, we're all expecting that blunder from either a Sanchez or Dyer. When it comes, and obviously Romero's got a point to start, but at this moment, they've not done anything. Certainly Sanchez, who I think has probably had 2 of his best games ever in the Spurs shirt in the first 2 games. Yeah, I think he messed up once against. But you're going to have that. No, there's not a single defender who won't make one little error in 90 minutes. So for me, Sanchez he was 10 out of 10 against City. And he was a better defender against Wolves. So no, Dyer and Sanchez to start. Romero will have to fight his way for his, and rightly so, like any big club.
Yeah, I think with Sanchez, what impressed me most about the Wolves game was that he had a really torrid first 15 minutes, whereas last season he just went downhill and completely capitulated towards the end, whereas he regrouped and then he was superb that second half. And then I think Man City and the way that we're playing, I think it is a defensive way we were playing. But I think the difference between this and last season is that last season it was just defensive with no attacking threat at all. Whereas certainly that City game, I thought we were defensive. We were helped by City, like Wayne has said. They didn't do anything against us. They were just trying to cross it to the forward who wasn't there. But we had an attacking threat, which last year, how we won that game 2-0 last year with 2 shots on target to their 25, whatever the hell it was. I have no idea. Whereas this one, we were worthy.
100%.
But that Man City game was also helped by the fan noise, which was unbelievable. I was there. I mean, there was one chant, I can't remember what it was. The stadium was shaking.
Brilliant.
So do you think, Brian, I mean, we did that for Man City. It's got to be for every game. Every team that come to us has to have that treatment. Do you think Watford will get the same treatment? Or do you think the whole City, Kane and all of that business helped with that? And obviously the fans have now had their first game back in the stadium. But do you think we'll give the same treatment to Watford and make it just a hostile atmosphere? So
first of all, just touch on Sanchez, and I'm not being over the top here. Right now, to me, Sanchez is the best centre-back in the Premier League. For his 2 performances he's had, we have to give credit where credit is due. His performance and sliding tackle in the 90th minute against Man City, and you would have seen it, Chris, when the place erupted. He has been, and we're all quick to give the players grief, especially these 2 we're talking about, but we're not there to give them the credit. And Sanchez, for me, has been, like you said, after a troublesome 15 minutes, he got his act together rather than tumbling. And to me, right now, after 2 games, the best centre-back in the league based on performances. When it comes to the ground, listen, it's another London derby, so they're going to be up for it. And I don't think this season you'll take it for granted how much of a privilege it is for fans to be at a ground, let alone 60,000 in a full house. The whole season right now has brand new connotations when it comes to fans' involvement and fan noise. And do you know what? Right now, after last season and the dreadful summer with the manager and players and whatever, we need to start making that, especially that south stand, the white wall of noise as much as we can. And we need to. And right now, if someone has said to you, okay, you've played 4 games this season, you've won 3, lost 1, but let's face it, it weren't really. It was the youth team and you lost 1-0. You've played 4 games. Every game you played at home, or every game you played in the league and at home, you've kept a clean sheet. You're now obviously joint top, but on goal difference. By the time we play, obviously the filth could be 9 points behind us, or 3 games. I just, and it's the break before the international break, and I reckon whether it be because we're celebrating winning, or maybe we're urging the board to spend money, or whatever it may be at that game Sunday, I think the crowd, and Bob's spoken about it a lot. There's been 2 incidences this season where we've been very, very proud to be Spurs fans. I mean, we know we have class anyway because we're Spurs fans, but how we treated Bukayo Saka and also how we welcomed Harry Kane, the Wolves fan. This is what the Spurs fans do. This is what. Now we need to carry on doing this. And whilst Nuno's here, you look what they did at Wolves. Look at that stadium when he was there. He can have, like the Brentford manager, geeing him up and everything. Hopefully he can do that. And I think the fans this season, not just for us, but obviously talking mainly for us, have a huge, huge, huge part to play. And I think tomorrow they'll be just as noisy as they were against Man City.
What do you think, Eugene? Do you think they'll be as loud, and certainly throughout the season going forward? I think certainly for the first 2 months, maybe that the home fans, not just Tottenham, but all grounds will be very loud, being that they've been starved of that for a year. But what do you think about Sunday's game with in regards to the fans?
Yeah, like I said before, right? Before every game, whether home or away, our fans must give all the positive energy to the players and to the manager, right? And not only in the stadium, right? Even the fans around the world who are watching it live and all the positive energy. And of course, very proud of our fans, like clapping Saka and, singing Harry Kane, you're one of our own away, right? While the Wolves fans were giving Harry Kane a hard time, right? So at the moment now, the fans should be our 12th man in the stadium to push the team forward, right? Positive energy, positive results. That's all we want, and that's all we need, right?
Yeah. What do you think, Bob? Do you agree with Brian and Eugene?
Yeah, I was just checking the results from last weekend, mate. I've said it before. We can't poo-poo. That's my favourite word, by the way. Poo-poo. We can't poo-poo over the fact that it's going to be so hard to get, like you mentioned, Chris. First couple of months, it's going to be so hard to get away wins. There wasn't a single away win on Saturday last week, and on Sunday. You've put the Chelsea away win at Arsenal, and let's be honest, everyone beats Arsenal in the league at the moment. Spurs were the only team to win away from home against a very, very good Wolves side who are playing at home after 18 months in front of their fans, and it is a fortress. So many big names have fallen by the wayside at Wolves. So we've done absolutely brilliant, and it will be, and every club will try and make their home ground a fortress because they've not seen it. I think our stadium deserves to be the fortress. I think whereas when we first moved there, a lot of teams were looking forward to coming to see the new ground and taking the atmosphere, and we did have a couple of dodgy results. I think the 7-2 kind of stands out, doesn't it? Or was that at Wembley? No, it was at our ground. That was at our ground, wasn't it? No, that was the 7-2 against Bayern Munich.
I can't remember.
That was a White Hart Lane. That was a White Hart Lane.
No, not White. No, it wasn't White Hart Lane. It was either at Wembley or anyway.
No, it was at the new stadium. Is what I mean. It was at the new stadium. The new White Hart Lane.
So yeah, we've had our dodgy results there, and so but we do need to turn it. And like Brian says, turn Molineux into a fortress, and our stadium deserves that south stand, the best south stand in Premier League at the moment, the best stadium in Europe, in the world. Some would say. That deserves to be a fortress, not just a lovely stadium to go and play a game of football in. So, but our fans have been brilliant. I mean, since Poch time, it has increased the level. I really do believe that. I think maybe it's a new generation thing, but they just seem to be louder. There's new songs coming out. There's more banter within the stadium. But no, we need to make that stadium a fortress, and I truly believe we will. And a win against City, a win against Watford, going ahead, moving ahead. Yeah, absolutely. We won again last night. Let's continue it. Yeah, our fans have been brilliant, absolute class, and I had goosebumps with the Harry Kane's. I think I mentioned it last week. I put a tweet out saying, "Look, don't be surprised if he gets booed. What's going to happen? Be prepared. He doesn't deserve it in my eyes, but be prepared." And no one did, and I got goosebumps. So chuffed. Yeah. Pure class. Our fans are pure class. So proud.
Yeah, I mean, just before we go, Brian, you think we'll win on Sunday?
Yep, I'm going 2-0, and I'm going to be bold with my scorers, or scorer, shall I say. I'm going 2 for Bergwijn.
I hope so. I really hope Bergwijn scores. Eugin, me and you were talking about that. He's one of the players that you really want to score. You really want to see him do well. But think we'll win?
Yeah, we'll win. Maybe this time I'll go 3-1, right? And Harry Kane the brace again. And okay, I'll support Brian. Bergwijn get one.
Between us two, he's up for a hat trick.
And at least he gets his confidence. Get the ball rolling, right? Yeah,
he's playing with confidence anyway, isn't he, Eugene? It's just a goal that's missing. Yeah.
He hit the post yesterday, and
he did,
that bit of skill against Wolves, and he took people on yesterday. That's something you wouldn't have seen about a year ago because his confidence was shot. But Bob, you think we'll win Sunday?
Yeah. Talking of Bergwijn, a lot of people saying Traore. We've got Hill, we've got Bergwijn. I don't see why we need someone who can run up and down and do nothing else. But for me, I stated 2 consecutive 3-0 wins against Ferrero Rocher yesterday and Watford, and I'm sticking by that. I think it'll be another 3-0. So I should have put money on it, but hey ho.
Yeah. Well, I hope so. I'm not going to put a score in it. I can't do that. I can't bet on Tottenham. They stress me out enough as it is. But I'll say we'll win. Aidan thinks Brian, the best centre back in the Premier League, will score at the weekend. I hope so. He deserves his performances this season. He deserves a goal and
he deserves a lot of credit. A lot of credit.
Yeah,
I mean, Sanchez is the one. Like I've said on previous streams, I've always thought there was a player there, and then I kept defending him. And then after the Man City Del Boy through the bar, as I call it, I kind of was like, no, you can't defend it. But I don't know if it's the Copa America. I don't know if it's what Nuno has done. But we've got the Davinson Sanchez we signed. It's just keeping it consistent now.
I know you need to go, Chris. But do you think selling Toby's probably, or bringing a Romero's probably thought, you know what, I need to buck up. This is my season.
That's
I need to buck up and show my performance. I am not being moved from this position. And like you say, Copa America must have done great for his confidence because he was one of the defenders of the tournament, wasn't he?
Yep.
I think it's the protection in front of him with Skip and Højbjerg. I think. It's back to the Poch days of the Wanyama, Dembele, or Dyer and Dembele in front, and you've got the license to go forward and do what you want, but you've got that protection, and it simplifies it a bit more. Whereas, I mean, Mourinho, you had all these midfielders other than Højbjerg who wanted to get forward. We lose the ball, we got Højbjerg, and that's it, and then defence, and we had 0.7% possession of the ball in the game as well, which always coming back. But I mean. I'd love Sanchez and Bergwijn to score, I think. And Ali as well. I think he's played well and get him a goal, get his confidence back. But, unfortunately, we've come to the end. Thanks, guys. Cheers, Wayne, for the support. Thanks so much, guys, for coming on. Welcome at any time. Brian, Tottenham On Tour. Tell us about that if people don't know where that is.
Yeah, they can find us at Tottenham On Tour. We've got the 2 Brians, which is me and Brian, and a special guest always coming on and just talking nonsense, and then opening it up to the fans. And then I've got my brother who's right below me right now, Bobspur, joining us tonight from 7 p.m. Eastern time, midnight UK time. And then we're just going to obviously talk a bit of preview of Wolves, maybe a bit about last night, but then just in general, I think mainly we'll be talking more transfers and see what activity happens today. And as Bobspur said, we've really got this weekend. Monday's a bank holiday back home, and then Tuesday. So surely today would be a day to try and really start getting bids in or activity beginning. So I think we're talking depth about transfers and possibilities, and maybe not just us around the world. But yeah, find us at Tottenham On Tour.
Excellent. Go like them, go subscribe. Eujin, Spursuasian TV. You do your crazy streams of about 18 hours a day or something. you do ridiculously long streams. This is an hour you do ridiculous streams, but great content. Anyone who doesn't know where it is, where can they find you?
You can find me on Spursuasian TV on YouTube, right? And my Twitter handle is either Eujin at Spursuasian TV. And like Chris been saying, crazy shows, crazy streams, 4-hour shows. But I usually do it on Sundays, 1 p.m. GMT. And we do have our midweek shows where we go through all the reviews and previews of the games. And see us there and see you there. And of course, don't forget, like and subscribe to Chris' channel too.
Cheers. And Bobspur TV hits crazy numbers in the thousands. I can only dream of that. Anyone who doesn't follow that or know where that is, where can they find you?
Yeah, Bobspur TV. But just to clarify, people watching, when Brian said my brother down there, he did mean me. He hasn't got a brother down there. That'll be right.
You're talking about your Pornhub days again, Bob, aren't you? You really
No, I'm on Bobspur TV. Currently doing 2 shows a week at the moment. So doing the In the Wall show 10:30 or 11 o'clock on Saturday night, where it's pretty much the weekend's review. This week we'll talk about the transfers, obviously what we hope for, but I also want to take predictions in for where we're going to where everyone's going to, who's going to be the FA Cup winner, League Cup winner, or whatever. So we'll do a full predictions, which will come to light at the end. And then my other show is the day after, the day before, which is the afternoon, the day after we play a Premier League game. Eugene on it, Brian's normally on it, and we'll take on pretty much anyway. This week, obviously, we'll be doing it on a bank holiday weekend, so hopefully more people can join us. But yeah, two shows a week at the moment, Saturday night and the afternoon after a Premier League game.
Excellent. You've got 3 shows there. All the information will be on the description on YouTube, and if you're listening to the audio only, it'll be on there as well. So yeah, get liking, get subscribing. A lot of viewers today. Thanks so much for that. Try and go one better. Let's see if we can get all of those liking this show. Subscribe.
Definitely like it. Please like it. It means a lot. It does help the channel. So if you're on it, just click it. It's free.
Yeah, and you know when Tottenham On Tour, Spursuasian TV, Bobspur TV are on, so no excuse to not like them, watch them and subscribe to them. But yeah, I'll be back on Monday. Hopefully we've got another win, 3 out of 3, and hopefully another clean sheet going to the international break and top of the league, or joint top of the league at the very least. But until then, come on, you Spurs.
Levy
Come
out.
on, you Spurs.
No, big one.
Come on.
Thank you so much for watching. For everybody who participated in the live chat and added comments, before you go, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Anybody who couldn't watch the live video, you can still catch us on YouTube. Add any comments, suggestions or questions to the comments section on the video. Anybody who's listened to the audio-only podcast, thank you so much for listening. Anybody who wants the audio-only podcast, you get this wherever you get your podcast from. Alternatively, if you go to Twitter, at Talk Tottenham, you'll find all the information there. We'll be back soon. We're live Mondays, 8 p.m, Fridays, 12:30 UK time. Until then, come on, you Spurs!